confident that the border is as secure as it's ever been.
Oh, really? A new report today is claiming the exact opposite because border agents are speaking out. One quoted as saying, "We've seen the number of illegal aliens double, maybe even triple since Amnesty talks started happening." So how big a problem is this? The folks who broke the story right here, right now. Welcome, everyone. I'm Stuart Varney in for Neil Cavuto. This is Your World. It's not the kind of news Janet Napolitano wants you to hear. An agent within the Division of Customs and Border Protection who says the real number of people crossing the border illegally is startling. An agent so afraid of retaliation that he refuses to reveal his name and claims this type of intimidation is commonplace. Guy Benson is with Town Hall, which broke the story. All right, Guy, why is there such a huge difference between what Janet Napolitano is saying about border security and what this unidentified agent is saying?
Hey, Stuart. Well, first of all, let me clarify that Town Hall did break the story, but it was my colleague, Katie Pavlich, a Fox News contributor, who's really been working very hard on this over the last few days, talking to a number of Border Patrol agents down in Texas and Arizona, and also some sheriff departments as well. And she's hearing this anecdotal evidence that since the last couple of weeks and months, as we're starting to really get closer and closer potentially to a political deal over comprehensive immigration reform, the people on the ground, according to her, are saying that the flow across the border has doubled, if not tripled, as you just mentioned. The
implication being that there's a sudden rush to get across the border to take advantage of the amnesty talk and the impending legislation if it happens.
Well, that would make sense. I mean, that's just basic human nature. If you think that you have an opportunity, you try to seize it. And the problem is, if you look at some of the photos that Katie has in her report up at townhall.com, it's not just people coming to this country seeking a better life. That's something that we can all relate to. Even if we're not in favor of illegal immigration, we can relate to people who want to come here to be able to feed their family, for instance. But there are a lot of people also coming in, a minority, but still a significant number, who are coming in and funneling in guns and drugs. There's one photo in particular where it looks like an AK-47 style weapon in the hand of one of the people crossing the border. And those aren't people, Stuart, that anyone wants in this country. Any group, any ethnicity. You don't want criminals and drug dealers entering the country with impunity. And so this is really one of the big political challenges as we move forward. If there's going to be a comprehensive bill, the word comprehensive suggests that it has to include border security. And I think a lot of Americans are wondering, is the administration, is the government being fully honest about how secure that border truly is?
Can you give me, I think you've got some specific numbers. I believe the reporter in question studied a particular area of Texas between February the 5th and March the 1st and came up with about 504 illegal entries at that border crossing. Is that correct?
Right. That was just based on individual cameras that were set up at different places along the border. So this is not a comprehensive study of how many people came across during that period of time. Those are just what the cameras caught. And only a fraction of those people were then apprehended by border control agents. And then the other really important point here, Stuart, is I'm not sure the government can really give us a sense of how secure the border is and where. There was just a committee hearing 2 weeks ago. Byron York reported about this, where DHS officials were asked. They instituted this brand new regime for measuring border security. They threw out the old plan. They set up new metrics. That was a few years ago. So this was a bipartisan hearing to say, all right, where are we? Okay. If we're going to have comprehensive reform, what's the state of the border now? And Defense, or rather Department of Homeland Security officials couldn't answer those questions.
Guy, I just want to take the statement from the Customs and Border Protection Division. They issued this statement to us, and it says, in fiscal year 2012, Border Patrol apprehension activity remained at historic lows. Apprehensions in California, Arizona, and New Mexico continued a downward trend, reflecting fewer individuals crossing the border. Are you saying that's 2012, now it's a whole different ballgame, coming across the border in far larger numbers now this calendar year?
That very well could be the case, Stuart, and it would make sense. Again, if there's an incentive and a magnet here, if people feel like there's an opportunity, even if they're not going to become citizens, to be here legally, if they're not a criminal. I mean, if I were in a desperate situation in Mexico, that would be a real temptation for me. I think that's just a part of humanity.
Yes, sir. All right. Guy Benson, townhall.com. Thanks for joining us, Guy.
Thank you, Stuart.